Welcome back, everybody, and if you're new, let me introduce myself. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'm in a good mood today. My Bills just killed the Jets. So, yeah, I'm in a damn good mood. Okay, today I got something different for you guys. I feel like some clients, they find it difficult to communicate with us, and sometimes as barbers, we might misinterpret what they want, and we might not be able to give them the best service that we possibly can, which is what I believe we're all in this for. I mean, I certainly am in this to try to go the extra mile for all of my clients. I really want you to leave the shop with that wow factor, and I want you to be happy each and every single time you come here. So I want to help to explain and clear up some of the mysteries behind what we're actually trying to do for you when you come in to get a haircut. Okay, some people might not know the difference between a taper, a blowout, a fade, what a fade actually even is. I feel like a client comes in and he says he wants a number 3 on the back and sides and scissors on the top, and he refers to that as a fade. Most barbers, as soon as we hear fade, we already think, oh, skin. So I want to help you guys to understand how to communicate with your barber so that you can get the best possible haircut, and I feel like I'm in the best position to do it. So get your coffee, go ahead and sit down and relax for a minute, and we are going to get into this video. Roll that intro. Let's get into this. I'm going to give you guys some tips to help ensure that you get a great quality haircut when you walk into a barbershop. Tip number 1. I'm just going off the top of my head here. You're gonna wanna find a local barbershop. Probably are not gonna wanna go to a corporate entity, such as a Supercuts, a Great Clips, a Sport Clips, or any kind of clips, Cost Cutters, Master Cutters. All these corporate entities, Smart Style, Regis. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you why you're probably not gonna get a great cut at these places. I feel like clients probably don't understand how we get paid. They just come in, they pay, and they leave happy or they leave unhappy. Barbers get paid by either commission or they rent, okay? If they do booth rent, they make their own prices, they make their own hours, and they have to build their own business. As a booth renter, if I come in today and I do 0 haircuts, I make $0. What does this mean and why is it important? Because if I provide a service that sucks and I don't build a business, I'm out of business. I'm done. So it is very important to me as a booth renter that I build my business, I stand behind my cut, I stand behind my name, and I make sure that every single person leaves happy. As a commissioned employee, I charge for my haircut. I have to give a percentage of what I make to the shop, and the rest of it is mine. So it's also important for me to build my business and stand behind my cuts and make sure that they are as good as they could possibly be so that I grow myself to a point where I'm able to sustain myself. In the event that I did not have clients, then I would be forced to go and work at some of those other places that we talked about, Cutters, Super Cutters, whatever. And those places pay hourly, and many of them use a productivity scale. Say that your hourly wage was $10 an hour, but you smashed through 100 haircuts that day, and all of a sudden your $10 an hour has now moved up to $15 or $16 an hour. That's actually a lot higher than it would ever actually move. It would probably move up actually lower than that. But let's give them credit, okay? Let's say that they smashed out 100 haircuts so that they could bring their productivity scale up and they can make more money. A few things happen in that environment. They don't care about the quality. They are not concerned with repeat business because those places do excellent marketing and have a line out the door almost all the time. They occupy great real estate, usually next to a big supermarket, and they're always going to be bringing in that business, and they are not afraid to discount or undercut anybody. Stylists or the barber that are in those places and occupy those chairs, 1, they need a paycheck that's decent and it's the best opportunity they have right now. 2, they're trying to build a clientele and take it with them somewhere else. 3, unless you're trying to build your skills. But other than that, I don't see a person staying there with a reasonable amount of skills, a large amount of clients. They would certainly want to go to the booth rent or they would want to go to the commission. So this isn't baseless. I'm not just saying this because I hate them places. I really don't hate them places. Their existence does not bother me or affect me in the slightest. And why is that? Because I've built my clientele. I've worked hard, I've done all the right things that I was supposed to do. I show up early, I leave late, and I go the extra mile. This is why I beat these people. This is why I beat those places. I don't need a grocery store attached to my barbershop to be successful. I need to do good quality work. to go to a private salon of some kind that is not some giant corporate entity, because just doing that alone is going to increase the chances of you getting a better haircut exponentially. Now you're at the shop. You've picked your shop, you've done your research, and you go in and you need to talk with the barber and you need to explain to him what you want. Do you want an undercut, a disconnected? Do you want a blowout, a taper? Let's get into some of these. Blowout. A blowout and a taper, there's kind of one difference that I've really ran across during the entire time I've done this. In all likelihood, if you ask for a blowout, you are probably expecting to get an edge up as well. Meaning that we redo your hairline and we edge that out. God, there's so much stuff to cover. This might not be able to fit in one video, but I'm gonna try to do my best. In the blowout or in the taper. A taper is actually when it comes from skin, it blends into whatever length you decided to leave it on the sides. For instance, if you left it like a number 3 on the back and sides and you did a taper, well, this is what the taper would look like in the back. Also, the taper can be in the sideburn area. This was called a blowout for many years by a lot of younger people. However, this is not a new technique. It's been around for 100 years. A taper or a blowout can also occur on both the sideburn, like this. If somebody asks me for a blowout, I almost know for a fact that they want their hairline lined up. Not everybody has a perfect hairline. And I understand that a lot of clients probably look at a guy who's got his edge up perfect and everything just recently done, and they probably think, I wish my hair would look like that. Well, I got news for you, and it's good news. It can. We can work wonders, especially with enhancements, just good, solid barbering techniques. We can work wonders and make your hairline look as if it grew that way. Now let's talk about the skin fade. You go into your barber, you tell him you want to fade. Automatically, when you tell the barber you want to fade, the barber is thinking skin. Second somebody tells me they want to fade, the first thought that pops into my head is they want skin. To blend into whatever, it doesn't really matter, but I'm already thinking that they want skin. I understand this is incorrect because there's a lot of people out there who believe that a fade is something else. A lot of people believe that if I go in and I ask for a 3 on the back and sides with scissors on top, they say I want a fade and they call it that. As barbers, I'm not here to correct you. I'm not here to try to set you straight. And I'm not here to criticize you because you don't know about our industry. I'm just gonna listen to you. I'm gonna do what you want me to do. And if you wanna go and call that a fade, that's fine by me. In a way, you're not wrong because there is some fading still happening between the scissors and the number 3. But let's say that you want a skin fade. You go in, you tell your barber, I want a high skin. When somebody tells me they want a high skin fade, the first thing I ask them, is it possible that we can make the fade a tiny bit lower than what you're asking, so that gives me a little bit more space to do a smooth transition? If they say no, that's fine. I tried and I will give them the high fade that they want. If they actually hear what I'm saying and they see what I'm talking about, 9 times out of 10, they'll allow me to do it the way I see fit and they'll allow me to give them that smooth transition. So you can have a high fade, you can have a mid fade, or you can have a low fade. And then the step down from that would be the blowout or just the taper, or you could block the back or you could round the back. Coffee's gone. Smoke break. When all else fails, show the barber a picture. I do this routinely in my chair. I might say something like, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page and I'd like you to just show me a picture of what you're talking about. It's very simple now. This isn't how it used to be where they used to bring in magazines and show us pictures from that. I've had somebody actually bring in a doodle that they drew themselves and told me that they want their hair like this. I kid you not, you can't make it up. Whether you're the barber or you're the customer, if you're not 100% sure that you're on the same page, get the picture. That mistake would be the barber's fault. If you show the barber a picture and he doesn't execute the picture the way that it is, well then that mistake would be the barber's fault and that would be nothing of your own doing. Now a couple other little tips for getting a good haircut. While we're on the subject of tips, hey, I got a tip for you. Don't piss in the wind. If you're going to see a barber for an appointment, please be on time. Because if a barber has a very full day and he's blocked out everything, maybe even skipped his lunch, and he's trying to figure out how to fit people in, and he's going through all the trouble, you might think that it's no big deal that you showed up 15 minutes late, but you've just cut the amount of time for that service in half, or you've made everybody behind him run 15 minutes late. And that's just not fair. Chances are you're probably not going to get a good haircut if you do that, because the barber will be forced to rush, Show up on time if you want to get a good haircut. That will help too. Probably the biggest pro tip that I could give you for getting a good haircut, finding a barber you like and sticking with them. Let them learn your hair. I don't always hit it out of the park the very first time I do somebody's hair. When a person comes back, I get more familiar with it. As I cut it over and over again, I try different techniques and different approaches to it, and I find what works best. I really feel like I can hit it out of the park. Give a guy a chance, try to explain what you want, show him a picture, go to the same barber. There's a lot of clients out there who go to a lot of different barbers and they complain that they don't get a good haircut. Look, I understand that's frustrating, but if you don't give a person a chance to cut your hair a few times and become familiar with your hair, then you're gonna continue going through that first awkward interaction. What I'm saying is give a person a chance to do your hair, become familiar with it, and execute it the way that you want it done. Now, I couldn't leave this one alone. Tipping. Okay, for me personally, tipping is not the most important thing in my world. That's just the way I feel about it. If you don't have the money, I feel fine. I'm happy to have you as a client. If you can tip me or you appreciate the service I do, well, great. All the better. I really do appreciate that. But in my opinion, that does not factor into whether I'm going to do a good job on your haircut or not. However, I've cut hair around a lot of people, and if you don't tip and you come in the shop, it's not uncommon for a barbershop to have a code to warn the other barbers, hey yo, them scissors is in the mail, or something like that. They tell each other that you have a non-tipping person walking in, basically saying, don't waste your time on him. I don't agree with that kind of mentality, but it is prevalent and it does happen. So I'd just like to warn you that if you choose not to tip, it's possible that you might receive a poor service on your return visit to that shop. Okay, a quick word about scissors versus clipper on the top of your haircut, okay? With scissors on the top of your haircut, we could leave a lot of texture, and you could do a lot of different styles with scissors. You might comb your hair all the way back, or you might like to wear it spiky and crazy, or you might like to wear it parted to the side. You would be a candidate for getting scissor work done. Now, if your hair just lays straight forward, or you wear it straight down, or you don't want to deal with it, then you're going to be the kind of client that would probably prefer a clipper cut on top. If you have a lot of colics on top, there's two ways you can deal with a colic as a barber. Number one, you cut it short and you take it out of play. It's very common for us to do this, especially in the crown region. If a person has a double colic, sometimes it makes sense to take the clipper a little higher in the back, knock that down completely, blend it up towards the front where it's a little bit longer in the front. It's not uncommon to cut it short and take the colic out of play. If you're a person who's plagued with colics, you have 2 in the front and 2 in the back, more than likely you're going to be forced to wear a short haircut. Your hair will not allow us to do that much with it. I'm sorry. We need to find the absolute best thing that makes you look the best that you can look. And sometimes that might mean, in your case, going a little bit shorter. Also, the second way we deal with colics is we wear the hair longer. You might be a candidate for a longer sort of scissor cut where you're getting a uniform layer where all the hair is being cut to the same length, or you're getting your hair left long enough to take them colics out of play and you can work them down with some product, styling, or blow drying. That would be a candidate who would use a scissor cut and keep that hair longer so you can keep those colics from acting up and maybe get them down with some gel or some hairspray. The hard part. I'll spend a second talking about the hard part. What is it? They got the comb over going and they have a part here, right? Hard part simply means that we are cutting the part in with trimmers that will take the hair down to the skin, and we're gonna cut basically a line in the hair. In some ways, it can look natural, or in other ways, it can look unnatural, depending on the client's preference. Hard part simply means that we are cutting the part into your hair to create one where either one does not exist, or to create one where one is desired to be. Now, edge ups, that's a popular thing for a lot of shops to do. In between haircuts, you stop in and you get an edge up. Edge ups generally apply to you. Let's say you have a big widow's peak and it goes down this far on your forehead. You don't like it. You and the barber have confirmed that you like to have it straight across and we cut off the widow's peak. Well, in less than a few days, some of the widow's peak starts to show up. You might be a good candidate to stop in and just get an edge up. A lot of barbers charge a reduced rate to just go through, do the lineup, and send you out the door. And usually that's all that includes if you're paying that lower price point to get that edge up. A word to the wise about the edge ups. I don't know why, but it is quite prevalent in our industry to see people get their edge ups pushed back further than necessary. A lot of folks like to push the corners back real far. They like to push the hairline back real far. They do your lineup in the back. For some reason, they feel like taking a bunch of your hairline out just to make it perfectly straight is necessary. I don't believe in these kind of things. I believe that keeping and preserving the maximum amount of a client's natural hairline is a necessity for me personally, but I do know there is a lot of barbers out there who don't respect that. They want everything to be perfectly straight, everything to be perfect, because I'll tell you what, the internet will eat you alive if you make a mistake, or if they see something that perceives to be a mistake. Like, hey, that edge on one side is a little bit lower than the other, and you know, you should have cut off more on that side. Whatever. I try to stay above the minutia. I just try to do the best for my clients, taking the least amount of hair. If you fear that a barber might go a little bit crazy with your edge up, it is always good to remind the barber that, hey, please don't push it back too far. I don't like to have a lot of my edge cut because it grows back. And sometimes it's good to give the barber a reminder. You're not being rude or anything like that, but it can be good to just remind a barber, like, hey, I don't really like this pushed in. If you can avoid doing that a little bit, that'd be great. And most barbers are gonna be like, oh, cool, okay. And they'll keep that in mind when they do your hair, and you'll get the haircut done the way that you want it to be. I've been watching a couple videos that were sort of like this, and I couldn't help but think, like, some of the stuff that I was hearing was crazy. It was like people with these big YouTube channels and these huge followings who have nothing to do with barbering going in and trying to tell you how to get a good haircut. And one of these guys, I won't say his name because I feel that's rude, he said that to watch your barber. Just a word to the wise, it makes people uncomfortable when you're staring at them. So if I'm over here trying to do your edge up and you keep looking up, and I'm trying to hold your hair straight so I can use the mirror, and you keep, you know, looking up, trying to make uncomfortable eye contact with me the whole time, it does make some people feel uncomfortable, and probably making your barber feel uncomfortable is going to lead to a negative result. That's just me talking, I don't know. So yeah, staring at your barber, that was ridiculous. So when I was researching what I wanted to bring up for this video, I found that to be a little ridiculous. Being polite, talking to your barber, showing him a picture, that should be enough. Okay, if this video helped and you feel like you got something out of this video, please come back and join me again sometime. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you want to check out more videos like this, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. I'm becoming a little more active in the community tab. I'm starting to learn my way around that a little bit. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, listening. Those of you who've been with me for a long time, I'm sorry because I realize this video isn't exactly for the barber. This is more for the client. A quick word about some of the newer terms that are out there, like the God fade and the high def fade, whatever. They call it a temple fade, or they call it a this fade or a that fade. All this stuff that you're hearing, some of the more odd ones that you're hearing, has been out for a long time before someone called it this or that. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of these terms getting thrown around like crazy. People are gonna come up with new names for old stuff, and it's just branding to get more YouTube views or get more views on Instagram or whatever media source they're trying to traffic to. And I just want to give a shout out to a little man named Brandon Isaiah Sexton. Him and his pop's been watching my videos. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for listening. It's so cool to have fans that want shout outs and stuff like that. It's a little bit surreal to me still, so really cool that you guys are tuning in and checking this out. Who knows, maybe the little man will become a barber someday. Basically, most haircuts are either tapered or they're not, and they're short or they're long, and we just got a mixture of a lot of different haircuts we can do. We can add a blowout to something, we can add a skin taper to something, we can mix it up. I hope this video helps you find the right barber. I hope this video might help you find the right haircut or that style that you've been looking for. If it helps, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That helps me out tremendously. Give me a little thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you all so much for watching.